This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. 2 people have died after selling their plasma at private clinics in Winnipeg within months of each other. Health Canada says it received reports of 2 fatal adverse reactions. CBC News learned an international student is one of the victims. Experts say 2 deaths in such a short span is unprecedented, and friends of the victim want answers. CBC I-Team reporter Michelle Allen has more.
Marianne Chica says her friend Rodiat Alabedi was a kind soul. The 22-year-old was studying at the University of Winnipeg. She was an international student from Nigeria who liked helping others and dreamed of becoming a social worker. Alabedi gave plasma at a private clinic in Winnipeg in October. Friends say she collapsed and her heart stopped, and that she died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital.
Myself, my friends, my family, her family, we're all in the dark, and I know it's like she's already gone, but it would give us a lot of closure to know what actually happened.
A CBC News investigation found 2 people died in under 4 months after selling their plasma at Grifols in Winnipeg. Health Canada said it received reports of 2 fatal adverse reactions after giving plasma. One in October at the Taylor Avenue Grifols location, another in January at the Grifols on Innovation Drive. Health Canada says it's still assessing the reports. It hasn't found a link between plasma donation and the deaths.
That's why I donate plasma at Grifols. One quick donation, and I've got cash for school supplies, groceries, and a full tank.
The Spanish company has multiple locations in Canada. It pays people around $30 to $100 for their plasma. It uses the plasma to make important medications. Grifols wouldn't provide an interview, but says it's doing an internal review. In a statement, it said, "We were saddened to learn of the recent passings of 2 of our donors. Our sincere condolences go to their families." It also says, "We have no reason to believe that there's a correlation between the donor's passing and plasma donation." Experts say plasma donation is usually very safe.
The probability of someone getting very seriously harmed by donating plasma is like getting struck by lightning.
Zeri Chansky says 2 deaths just months apart is unheard of. He says it raises questions. Did staff have sufficient training? Were the machines working correctly? Were donors being adequately screened? Grifols says it has extensive screening measures in place, including health history evaluations and a physical exam.
Plasma is donated for profit in these centers. And so we have to make sure that, that procedures and safety of everyone involved is placed in the right priority.
Chica says she doesn't know why Alabedi and the other donor died, but that they deserve accountability. Michelle Allen, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A Pimicikamat Cree Nation teenager is devastated after getting kicked out of a Winnipeg hotel following surgery. He was staying at the hotel adjoined to the Health Sciences Centre through federal support. The 16-year-old and his mother say they were forcibly removed. The CBC's Matt Humphrey has more.
Nicholas Robinson says he's traumatized and in severe pain.
I can't.
The 16-year-old from Pimicikamat Cree Nation told his story, along with leadership and family from his First Nation. He says he and his mother were forced out of their room at the Canad Inn's Health Sciences Centre, where he was staying after leg surgery.
He came at me and was pulling my pillows and trying to get me off the bed while I was in pain. I told him I could do it myself, but he didn't give us enough time. I didn't even have enough time to get my shoes. I'm still shoeless.
He says parts of his kneecap needed to be surgically removed from his leg. He spent 2 nights in hospital, then 2 nights at the hotel through support provided by the First Nations and Inuit Health Branch. Robinson's mother says they were waiting for an extension of their hotel stay to be approved.
They couldn't wait for the fax papers for us to get extended. And I was like the next caller waiting for it to get approved. Just took the phone from me and hung up.
The family provided a video showing someone in the hotel room yelling.
Look, his knee's broken.
I don't care. You will pay or not.
A statement from Canad Inns says, in part, we are currently reviewing the incident, including security reports and available footage, to better understand the full context of what occurred. Manitoba Health Minister Uzoma Asaguera says their office has offered support to the family.
I've given direction to Shared Health to understand better what took place here and prevent that from happening to another family.
Shared Health says it cannot comment because of patient privacy. Robinson's family says they were not treated with dignity.
There was these 2 security guards calling us down. They were calling us broke, lazy asses. Sorry for my language. He started slurring at us for no reason.
Pimicikamak leadership says the family deserves an apology from Canad Inns and the federal government. Matt Humphrey, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Generous, fun-loving, and dedicated to helping. That's how a 44-year-old father killed in a roadside crash Friday is being remembered. Samuel James Decker was driving 3 of his kids to his home in Winkler when he slid off Highway 428 near Road 19 North. Another driver pulled over to help him. RCMP say a 17-year-old driver didn't realize they were stopped, swerved, and hit one of the cars, hitting the men in the ditch and killing them. His ex-wife says their 13-year-old daughter called her from the scene.
It was horrendous. It was probably one of the most horrendous moments of my life. The most horrendous of my moments of my life is when I had to tell my children, confirm to them that their father was gone. But then the next phone call I made was to his family.
Samuel was originally from Sierra Leone, but had lived in the Winkler area for more than 20 years. The engineer who survived a 2018 train derailment that claimed the life of his co-worker told an inquiry it happened fast and they were unable to do anything. 38-year-old Kevin Anderson died after the train went over a washed-out section in northern Manitoba. He and his colleague were trapped, injured inside for others. The surviving engineer testified this week that their radios weren't working and they were unable to call for help. He says they were found by a helicopter flying overhead by chance. An autopsy report found Anderson bled to death after suffering, quote, serious but survivable injuries. Winnipeg police say riding the bus has become a little safer, thanks to the success of the Winnipeg Transit Violent Crime Intervention Strategy. The pilot project was rolled out over 3 months late last year, and stats show a slight decline in crime and violence. But the transit union worries the program won't be a permanent part of the transit safety plan. CBC's Mike Arsenault has that story.
Crime scenes inside bus shelters, violence and aggression on buses. That's why the Winnipeg Transit Violent Crime Intervention Strategy was created. The pilot project ran from September to December last year.
The WPS is very pleased with the results of the program.
Stats show total crimes on buses decreased by 15.1%. Violent crimes decreased by 18.2%, and property crime decreased by 15.2% when compared to the same time the year before. Superintendent Brian Milne admits the data from a 3-month pilot project is a small sample size.
We're not having a victory lap on this right now and declaring victory. There's still, as the release says, there's still all kinds of work that needs to be done in this area.
I asked bus riders if they noticed a difference.
I mean, I've seen police for sure on certain occasions, when there were incidents on the bus itself or waiting at bus stops, but not that frequently.
Transit security, they were riding on the buses, just making sure people were getting off safely and everything like that. Other than that, I haven't noticed any law enforcement.
The Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1505 says the pilot project was effective.
Even just the deterrent of having them on the bus was enough to show public that there's actually a force now standing there to protect us or protect the public as well.
Winnipeg police wouldn't say if the pilot project will continue. The transit union says without it, safety on buses could get worse.
Since we have the numbers, we know it works. We know it works. So let's increase it. Let's make it permanent for a year. Let's try and let's see. And I think from there, you're definitely going to see improvement in the system.
Van Gerwen says he shared his concerns with the city and Winnipeg police. Police say officers are still on buses, but not to the same degree, and couldn't say if a dedicated unit would be assigned to transit safety. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, time now for a check on weather. Riley is in, and Riley, yesterday there may have been a few snowflakes, but today the sunglasses were out.
Yeah, for sure, Brittany. I mean, a nice March sun. I mean, was maybe not as warm today as it was yesterday, but I mean, still, the sun is nice. People are certainly smiling a lot more when the sun is out, I find anyway. -9 in Winnipeg at the airport. Downtown getting up to about -7 through the afternoon, so a bit of a difference between the two reporting locations. Melita -3, Thompson at -10, getting into some warmer air into parts of northern Manitoba, and that'll be the trend as we get into the day on Thursday with some slightly warmer air. That's all thanks to high pressure that has really done a pretty good job clearing out most of the province. A few scattered clouds here and there, even some scattered flurries in far southern Manitoba as we got through the early part of the day today. Through the night, looking at temperatures around -17, give or take. In Winnipeg, a partly cloudy sky through the night. Winds stay light. As we get through the day tomorrow, partly cloudy, maybe a few flurries first thing in the morning. Then I am watching a system that could bring us some light snow as we get through the later part of the afternoon into the evening. But temperatures warming up close to the freezing mark. Brittany will time out that snow coming up.
All right. Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Coming up, raised solely for slaughter, but suffering along the way. Why animal rights activists are reigniting calls to ban live horse shipments. Next. They're being flown across the world to Japan to be slaughtered. But a new investigation by animal rights activists shows horses continue to suffer injuries, illness, and even deaths on those flights. It's reigniting the call for Canada to ban the shipments and demand more rigorous reporting requirements and accountability when problems happen. The CBC's Karen Pauls has more.
Video shot by animal rights advocates one day before a December 2024 shipment of 86 horses to Japan appears to show they were moved from Carlisle Farms in Swan River, Manitoba, to an interim feedlot 6 hours closer to Winnipeg. Advocates say the stop meant to reset the clock and keep the shipment under the 28-hour legal limit for transporting horses without food, water, or rest.
It's supposed to be to improve legal compliance, but I certainly have concerns about whether it's meaningfully helping the horses.
In fact, drone footage shot by the advocacy group shows a horse trapped under a steel gate.
Clearly struggling to free themselves, and no one, it seems, was around to help them.
Hours later, that horse and others were transported to the Winnipeg airport. That's where then Conservative Senate leader Don Plett arrived to observe the loading process.
These horses were absolutely treated with the highest degree of care. If horses are being injured or dying in transport, that is serious.
The horses arrived in Japan and were sent to quarantine and a fattening facility. Japanese documents show one horse suffered from convulsions and died of chronic enteritis. One was found with 2 15-centimeter lacerations that exposed muscle. Others had fever, leg wounds, and diarrhea. But Canadian Food Inspection Agency records found the horses appeared to be in good condition and closed the file. It reported 0 injuries and 0 dead.
It's problematic because the CFIA uses those records to tell Canadians what's happening with this industry.
Animal rights advocates found nearly 250 cases of injury and illness and at least 9 deaths in 18 shipments between September 2024 and September 2025. They want Ottawa to ban exports of live horses for slaughter. Plett says that's the wrong approach.
Let's fix the system, not kill it.
The CFIA says information about deaths or serious injuries during air transport and at Japanese quarantine stations is being proactively provided to Canada. But it adds animal health after arrival is within Japan's regulatory oversight. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Manitoba's healthcare system is another step closer to ending mandatory overtime and establishing targets for nurse-to-patient ratios. Those were among some new bills introduced by the NDP government Wednesday. CBC's Ian Fraze joins me live from the newsroom. And Ian, the government has been talking about those healthcare promises for a few months. So what does this new legislation say?
Basically, Brittany, these laws, if passed, will give the health minister the power to set rules around nurse staffing. In one bill, the minister can set nurse-to-patient ratios. In another, the minister can establish benchmarks to help eliminate or limit the use of mandatory overtime for nurses. Health Minister Yzoma Asseguera says they won't set these rules, but they'd get advice from the new committees being established. Asseguera says their first priority, establish these nurse-to-patient ratios.
We need to make sure that we have a level of flexibility so that if you work in the Interlake and we roll out nurse-to-patient ratios in one particular area, it might look different in the Interlake than it does in Winnipeg.
The Tories are questioning if Premier Wab Kinew can deliver.
As we know that Wab Kinew has gone out and insisted that he's hired enough nurses, and frontline nurses have disputed that.
So, Ian, meanwhile, the fallout of Bob Lagacy's decision to leave the Tories and sit as an independent rippled through the legislature for the second straight day. What happened?
Yeah, the NDP used question period to put the opposition Tories on the defensive. The Dawson Trail MLA said the tipping point for his departure was the Tories choosing to keep MLA Jeff Wharton after the Ethics Commissioner ruled he violated conflict of interest rules for trying to push through the CO Silica mining project after the Tories lost the last election. Now, the Premier today saying it's time for the Tories to get rid of Wharton.
Will the Leader of the Opposition finally take action and eject the member for Red River North? I can tell you if it was up to me, he would have been long gone.
Now, Wharton was absent from the legislature. PC leader Abi Khan did not address what Canoe was saying, instead questioning the government's plan to open a supervised consumption site. Brittany.
All right, thank you. That's CBC's Ian Fraze. All right, Riley, back in now. Riley, I feel like you sometimes get the short end of the stick because you have to be the bearer of bad news. You get to be the bearer of good news when it's nice out, but snow still in the forecast again.
I mean, it's all relative, right? Like, we need the moisture. Some folks really do like the outdoor activities and how pretty the snow makes things. So, yeah, there's two sides to it, right? We could do without the bad driving conditions and the poor visibility.
We'll think of the positive.
Exactly. We could see some of that as we get through the later part of tomorrow. Let's start with a look at Futurecast. We'll time this out for you now. So right now we have high pressure over Hudson Bay right now, and that has really cleared out the province. That's what led to actually a pretty decently sunny sky really across most of Manitoba today, save for, like I was saying earlier, the southwestern corner of the province, which did get a few flurries first thing in the morning. So that high pressure pushes out as we get through the night, replaced by an incoming low that will skirt across northern Manitoba. And along this warm front, as it nudges this way into the province early in the morning, there's the likelihood that we'll see some light snow first thing really through much of northern Manitoba. It's just a quick mover, so even by 9, 10 o'clock, it's out of the way through much of northern Manitoba, through Thompson into Norway House, for example. That does bring with it the chance of a few stray flurries first thing in the morning through particularly Interlake, but into the Red River Valley, into the city of Winnipeg. I think we could see some of that first thing in the morning. But it's the system south of the border that I have been keeping my eye on, and there's still not a lot of agreement with the forecast modeling on the exact track of this, and that is going to be everything. So this particular forecast model has us slightly further south into North Dakota, keeping most of the snow south of the border, but any deviation in this track, I think we do have the chance of seeing some light snow through parts of the afternoon into the early evening hours through the city of Winnipeg and into southeastern Manitoba. Really anywhere south of the Trans-Canada has a very good chance of seeing some light snow tomorrow. Like I said, particularly along the international border, that's where we have the best likelihood through tomorrow. And then a cold front comes through as we get through Friday. That's going to cool temperatures down and actually keep things on the colder side as we get through the weekend, to the tune of even close to 10 degrees below seasonal in some cases as we get through Saturday into Sunday. So what this is translating into, 2 to 4, maybe 5 centimeters on the high end from that first burst of snow through the morning into northern Manitoba. The potential of 2 to 4 centimeters along the international border with that system that rolls through later in the day. But what you'll notice, I think, more will be the wind as we get through the day on Thursday. So even through the morning, looking at winds out of the southeast, 30 gusting to 50, even 60 at times through the Interlake first thing. But then we'll start to see things shifting around slightly as we get into Friday morning. Still a bit breezy into the day on Friday. So any snow that does fall, we'll likely see some of that blowing around and potentially creating some visibility issues. So up to -1 tomorrow afternoon, dropping to -8 as we get through the day on Friday. Then we get a bit of a brighter weekend ahead, but temperatures much cooler than normal, and looking at low temperatures even hanging around the -20 mark into the weekend.
The weather update is brought to you by Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. When things go wrong, we do what's right.
Probably won't last too much longer. Hopefully won't last too much longer. We have much more ahead right after the break. Stay with us. Day 12 of the war in the Middle East saw U.S. and Israeli forces unleash waves of airstrikes across Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump says Iran's leadership has been, quote, knocked out twice. But it's not clear what he meant. Meanwhile, Tehran is also carrying out attacks in the region while warning its own people not to join the fight against their new ruler. David Common has the details from Jordan.
Confirmation today from Iranian officials, the new supreme leader has been injured in airstrikes that have been targeting senior leadership. According to multiple reports, he has a fractured foot and other minor injuries. Having said that, Mujtaba Khamenei has not been seen in public since his selection as supreme leader, fueling questions about whether his injuries may be more serious. Both his wife and his father, the previous supreme leader, were killed in airstrikes, and there are questions about whether he was injured in those same strikes on a compound in the capital. All of this coming as there are threats from Iran's police chief for any Iranian thinking about protesting this regime. The chief saying that anyone who even thinks about that will be dealt with the same way as the enemy. In short, they will be killed, as tens of thousands of other Iranians who have risen up over the past few months have been killed, targeted by this regime. Airstrikes continuing against Iran, certainly in Tehran, but also in Kerman and Tabriz provinces. This comes at the same time that airstrikes by the Iranians continuing, showing they still have the capacity to strike even after being hammered repeatedly by both the Americans and the Israelis. I would note that Russia is confirmed to now be providing Iran with precise details about where American combat units are located, as well as American ships, helps the Iranians target specific areas. Finally, when will this all be over? President Trump indicating once again he sees it wrapping up soon without providing any further details. David Common, CBC News, Amman, Jordan.
On the war's other front, Israel has expanded its attacks on Lebanon, striking targets in the middle of the capital, Beirut, as it amps up its bombardment of the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah. CBC senior correspondent Susan Ormiston is in Lebanon with the latest details.
Israeli airstrikes overnight and this morning hit several areas in Lebanon, in the south part of Lebanon, in Beirut, and here in the Bekaa Valley. This was a car parts shop until this morning when a targeted strike hit here, completely demolishing this building. Down the road a little bit is another airstrike where several people were killed, and there are at least 17 injured in this area. In Beirut, unusually this morning, in the center of Beirut, an airstrike hit another building, an apartment building, targeting those inside. We don't know the results of that strike, and also several more strikes on the southern suburbs in Beirut. We're also hearing from the chief of staff of the Israeli military that it is sending reinforcements to its northern positions in Israel to fortify that border area between Israel and Lebanon. So a lot going on in this battle in Lebanon today with no sign of it slowing down. Susan Ormiston, CBC News in the Bekaa Valley.
The Strait of Hormuz is a key shipping lane for Gulf oil, one that Iran is determined to hold hostage. It's now warning the world to be ready for oil prices to double if U.S. and Israeli airstrikes continue. Unconfirmed reports say Tehran has deployed about a dozen mines in the channel. It also struck multiple cargo ships trying to pass through. Megan Williams has more from Dubai.
The three vessels were struck by unknown projectiles in the Strait of Hormuz. On one of them, a Thai-flagged vessel, a fire broke out and the crew had to be evacuated. Not all of the crew members made it off. There are reportedly a few missing at sea. Now, the U.S. military says that it struck Iranian mine-laying vessels near the strait.
We took out just about all of their mine ships in one night. We're up to boat number 60. I didn't realize they had that big a Navy. I would say it was big and ineffective. But every one of their ships, just about all of their Navy is gone at the bottom of the sea.
Have they laid any mines in the Strait of Hormuz?
We don't think so.
These attacks come as tensions are escalating in the narrow waterway through which about 1/5 of the world's oil supply glides. Shipping traffic throughout the Gulf has virtually stopped. Tanker operators are weighing whether or not to risk entering the area. Now, here in Dubai, 2 drones made it through the defense systems and landed near the Dubai airport, injuring 4 people. Iran has also warned that it will begin targeting banks and financial institutions across the Gulf after a building connected with Iran's state-linked bank SEPA was struck in Tehran. People were sent home early from work in the finance and business centers and told to work remotely. Across the wider Gulf, missiles and drones were intercepted. Fresh waves of attacks on Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar took place, and at an oil site in Saudi Arabia. This conflict obviously shows no sign of abating right now, and the range of targets just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. Energy, infrastructure, airport, and of course the Gulf of the Strait of Hormuz. Megan Williams, CBC News, Dubai.
The Carney government is now 1 seat closer to a majority after an NDP crossed the floor. It's the 4th MP to defect and join the Liberals since last fall. The 2 opposition parties that lost members are now taking aim, calling it all undemocratic. Ashley Burke has the story from Ottawa.
You're all standing up. There you go. The Liberals welcoming another new MP to their party. Lori Idlout, the first member of the NDP to defect. The Liberals now shy of a majority government by 2 seats.
I'm very honored to welcome Lori Idlout to our caucus.
Idlout represents Nunavut and says threats against Canada's sovereignty played into her decision.
What incentivized you?
Like with any complicated issue, it wasn't just one thing that happened. There are a variety of many things that have allowed me to really reflect on this, and I'm very thankful to be so warmly welcomed.
3 Conservative MPs have already crossed the floor since this fall. Mark Carney bringing in MPs from both the right and now left sides of the political spectrum to join his team.
Let me start by welcoming the member of Nunavut to this side of the House.
It's a big blow for the NDP fighting for its survival, now reduced to 6 seats.
What does this mean for your party, sir?
No comments.
What does this do for morale in the caucus?
Right now, Canada needs the NDP more than any other time in our history. I can tell you that. Canadians are about to learn that real quick.
Idlout has openly flirted with the idea of joining the Liberals, but last week appeared on stage to support the NDP's leadership race.
It's great to be here.
Her party now calling her defection undemocratic.
I'm becoming increasingly concerned by the way that Mr. Carney is trying to stitch together a majority government in this country.
The Conservatives continuing to raise concerns too.
Mark Carney is getting a backroom deals what he couldn't get in the last election.
Idlout's move brings the Liberals to 170 seats in the House of Commons. With 3 by-elections set for April, the party has a chance to claim a majority government this spring. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
A growing number of Canadian healthcare facilities are using mobile MRI and CT scanners. The technology allows surgeons to check on a patient's progress midway through an operation instead of waiting to do one after a procedure is complete. Lauren Pelly reports on this groundbreaking tech and its impact.
Portable brain scanners sound like the stuff of science fiction, but doctors say they're making a real difference during complex procedures.
Having the instant feedback is what I think a game changer.
Last fall, Ontario neurosurgeon Dr. Neil Dougal first used a portable MRI during a surgery to remove a patient's pituitary gland tumor. His team worked in a tiny space, flanked by arteries and nerves leading to the eyes and brain.
If we injure those arteries, that can lead to a catastrophic hemorrhage, stroke, or death.
Usually surgeons remove as much of the mass as possible, then wait for a traditional follow-up MRI to see what's left. Now, Dougal's team can scan patients partway through and safely remove even more tumor growth, giving people like Dave Evans better outcomes and fewer follow-up procedures.
I was just over the moon in terms of knowing that they were able to use this technology and it had benefited me the way it did.
More Canadian healthcare teams are now using portable MRIs and CT scanners. There are at least 16 mobile devices operating across the country, and some are shared by multiple communities.
The technology is incredible.
Traditional scanners are large, more expensive, and stay in one place. Researchers who study portable options say they can supplement those devices in hospitals or reach patients in remote and rural areas.
The idea is to sort of flip the paradigm. Instead of the patient coming to the scanner coming to the patient.
But portable machines do have downsides.
There are real differences between some of the lower field scanners that will be highly portable and still the traditional clinical grade scanner.
Even so, researchers say there's huge potential for these futuristic devices in the not so distant future. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Up next, Brandon high schoolers swap textbooks for tools at a hands-on trade summit. We'll have more on that after the break. Hundreds of high school students left their classrooms this week to learn the tricks of the trades. A hands-on summit at Brandon's Assiniboine College had students learn by doing in all sorts of trades, from carpentry to heavy-duty mechanics. CBC's Michelle McDougall was there.
You put that ring on the other end of the pipe and squash it all together.
Hands-on instruction at Brandon's Assiniboine College to show high school students how to put a clamp on plastic tubing from plumbing and pipe fitting instructors. Measure twice, cut once, and other lessons were offered during a day-long trade summit, also known as Try a Trade. In the carpentry shop, the high school students go through the drill, learning the basics from their college peers and instructors like Trevor Jenkins.
So there's obviously quite a bit of interest there. Some are just not sure what they want to do, especially in this level of training where it's kind of an introductory level, just coming in to see what it's like.
About 330 students from 18 high schools across Manitoba and eastern Saskatchewan took their turn at a trade, including automotive, electrical, heavy-duty mechanics, welding, and robotics. Paige McDougall from Portage Collegiate knows her way around an engine. Her dad's a mechanic and says the day was way better than sitting in class.
I think it's pretty fun. It's nice to get the opportunity to go different places and try new things. I'm all about that.
St. Lazar's OCL Samard is used to helping her family work on farm equipment, but something else caught her eye.
Robots and stuff. I've never seen that before other than like on TV or on movies or something, so that was pretty cool seeing for the first time.
Trades, transport, and equipment operators are some of the top in-demand occupations in Manitoba today. And Assiniboine College and the Construction Association of Rural Manitoba hope events like these help meet that demand.
Without the tradespeople, we wouldn't be very, we wouldn't have houses, I guess, and buildings and infrastructure and everything. So yeah, it really is connected to everything that we do.
Kara Morris says events like these are essential because the need for certain trades comes and goes, but laborers are always in demand. Michelle McDougall, CBC News, Brandon.
With less than 9 months left in a federal housing program worth millions of dollars, the city of Winnipeg is still thousands of units short of its goal. The Housing Accelerator Fund approved more than $120 million to boost housing construction in Winnipeg. On the condition, the city approved more than 14,000 building permits by December 5th. So far, they've reached 81% of that goal. City officials say they're confident they'll reach the target, as hundreds of units are expected to be approved this year.
The weather update is brought to you by Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. When things go wrong, we do what's right.
All right, Riley, back in now, and parts of the city where you can actually see the concrete and the asphalt, yes. Not just snow everywhere.
Yeah, be careful though, because as we go through this freeze thaw, right, things tend to get icy earlier in the day, and we get some nice melting.
We're getting some good melting.
Yeah, we are, for sure. Good for the dog walk. Don't need the booties, I don't think. I mean, maybe on the weekend, but for the most part, I mean, pretty decent for dog walking. And you know what? I think that's something that Gracie likes in all seasons. Thank you, Margaret, for sending this picture in, all ready to go in rural Portage La Prairie on Sunday afternoon. So thanks for sending this picture in. Please keep sending yours. I love to see them all in the inbox when we get off the air. So by the afternoon, looking at -1 in Winnipeg, fairly good chance that we'll get at least a few flurries, if not a little bit of light snow through the afternoon. Certainly further south is where I'm expecting a better chance of that as we get through the later afternoon into the evening tomorrow. But you'll notice winds picking up as we get through the day, 20 gusting to 40 by the evening, likely some stronger gusts as we get through into the overnight hours into early Friday morning. So we are entering another phase where we're going into some cooler temperatures, so you can start to see this trough that's developed in the jet stream, and this will enhance as we get toward the weekend. So this is Friday. You can start to see some of these pinks and purples starting to invade the northern prairies, and that will sit a little bit further south as we get into the day on Sunday with this trough really digging far south into parts of the central U.S. So we're looking at temperatures back into the minus double digits by the time we get into Saturday and Sunday. before we start to get a bit of a break as we get into next week. You can see a ridge starting to build in the jet stream here. By the time we get to the middle of the week, starting to nudge into some slightly warmer air. So a little bit of an up and down to go before we get into more spring-like weather here as we get into the middle of the month here. So looking at your overnight forecast, temperatures around -10, likely see some flurries into the early morning hours, really pretty generally across the south. But in particular, through parts of the Inner Lake and into the northern edges of the Red River Valley, we could see some of that. In northern Manitoba, temperatures around -20 in Thompson, -30 in Churchill, still light wind for the most part, but we could see some gusts along the Hudson Bay coast. There's that quick first clipper that pushes through as we get into the afternoon with that warm front, some high pressure starting to build in behind that. And in southern Manitoba, you'll notice that snow pushing along the international border. We'll likely see some of that through Melita, Morden, Winkler into Emerson, for example. Then in the long range, looking at temperatures cooling down for the weekend, minus double digits for the west as we get into Saturday and Sunday. And in northern Manitoba, looking at temperatures remaining in the -20s, Brittany, along the Hudson Bay coast.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Oscar-nominated actor Timothée Chalamet has triggered a backlash from the performing arts world after he dismissed ballet and opera as art forms that audiences don't care about. And it's drawing criticism. The artistic director of the Royal Winnipeg Ballet weighed in earlier with Marcy Marcusa.
Honestly, I'm neither offended nor upset. I think we have to accept that this has gotten a lot of attention for these two art forms that might not get this much attention usually. So I think we should be grateful for the passion and attention that this moment has brought to us. I want to share that in Winnipeg, this is manifestly not true. We are performing this week, and we've had to open the second balcony of the concert hall because it's selling so well. So Winnipeg definitely cares about ballet, and I think that's a sign of his. We think of ballet and opera as being rarefied, potentially elitist art forms. The reality is, a Hollywood star like him, that is a rarefied perspective. He is not looking at the world realistically.
So you're choosing to look at this as sort of what positive attention it can bring to the art form that obviously in Winnipeg is popular and is something that people love, as cited by how you're selling things out. Do you think that it's also given, though, ballet fans, I don't know, a moment to galvanize maybe? Like, what's the opportunity in this?
Yes, absolutely. I've loved looking at social media and seeing how much passion is coming through the airwaves about this. How many people are asserting their perspective on this and their commitment to these art forms. People have said really, really smart. There have been really smart responses. I mean, beginning with, he said, I don't want to be part of ballet and opera. Well, no one's asked you to be, and very likely you don't have the talent to have a big professional career in either of those art forms. So we don't need him. We're doing fine, in fact.
That was a bit of a mic drop. I actually, I liked that, how you put that. Tell me a little bit more about overall the support for dance culture here in Manitoba and what you're seeing beyond sort of the popularity of the current show, but in terms of the growth and the training of the upcoming dancers and also the season that you're having.
Yes, thank you very much for asking that. So I moved here to Manitoba only last May. So I began this position at the Royal Winnipeg Ballet in June. So everything is new to me, and I am sort of flabbergasted at the interest and pride this community has in the Royal Winnipeg Ballet and how vibrant this cultural scene is. So every time an Uber driver drops me off at our campus, at the RWB campus, they know about the ballet. They're impressed that I work there. And in much larger communities, that connection might not be made. So this is really fertile ground. The Royal Winnipeg Ballet is the oldest continuously running dance organization in all of North America. So I feel incredibly grateful to be part of this organization with this long tradition and history. I feel like we are in a moment where there is extra attention on the organization because of a shift in leadership. And I am sort of seizing that moment and wanting to bring this quality of dance to anybody in all of Manitoba and across Canada, in fact, that is interested. And I want to do it on their terms, not just ours. So one way in which we perform is doing a big classical ballet like the Sleeping Beauty at the concert hall. But for next season, I've initiated some new programs that allow people to see us outdoors just rehearsing, not a performance. This is how a professional ballet dancer trains, in more intimate spaces where you get to see the dance up close, and get to meet the artists afterwards. The truth is, live performance is increasingly going to become more special because so much of our world is digital and virtual, that seeing a human take risk in front of you. The ballerina can not accomplish the complicated turn. The opera singer can not hit the high note. And that doesn't happen in film, for instance, where they can reshoot it, they can Photoshop it, all sorts of things can happen. This, the immediacy of these art forms, I think, is going to be increasingly appealing to people.
Still ahead, could you complete a 500-piece puzzle in under an hour? Well, teams are put to the test, piece by piece. That's next in our Daily Lift.
Okay, earlier in the show we saw the lovely shot of the snowmen in the park. Well, are they going to stick around probably, because we're looking at -1 tomorrow afternoon, minimal melting just because, I mean, temperature close to freezing, but we're looking at clouds featuring quite prominently throughout the day tomorrow. So shouldn't see too much melting, which means that these guys should stick around for a little bit longer. That plus a bit of a cooler weekend on the way here. So up to -1 tomorrow afternoon, but then we fall back down to -11 as we get into the weekend. A bit brighter for the weekend as high pressure starts to set in. Sunny for Monday, -7, and then we're climbing back up close to the freezing mark by Tuesday, and maybe some showers or some flurries as we get toward the middle of the week. Well, how long does it take you to solve a jigsaw puzzle? Could you do it, Brittany, in under an hour?
Probably not. In Charlottetown, groups gathered for a bit of competition last weekend. Taylor O'Brien has our daily lift.
Flip your puzzle over!
The pressure was on as 6 teams raced to build the same 500-piece puzzle of kittens surrounded by flowers. Laura Bulger says that she's addicted to building puzzles, and she'll sometimes stay up until 2 in the morning to finish one. So she says it was great to take part in a puzzle competition with 3 generations of her family.
I just like to start one and finish it within 2 or 3 days.
The pattern didn't prove to be too puzzling for some participants. This team finished in 47 minutes and walked away as champions. The win came as a surprise to Peter Cudmore. He finds puzzles to be a relaxing activity.
Especially after a long day, or maybe like if something's going wrong in life that day, it's just nice to sit down, relax. The puzzle always has a solution, so it's an easy problem-solving thing to do.
One of the library employees who helped organize the tournament says puzzles aren't really his thing, but many people are interested in the hobby.
During the wintertime, you need things to do that are cheap and fun, and that's where the library tries to come in.
The library would like to hold another speed puzzling tournament in the future. As for Cudmore and his team, they'd love to defend their championship title, so that event would be a perfect fit. Taylor O'Brien, CBC News, Charlottetown.
You know, that doesn't seem relaxing to me. It just feels
I
frustrating.
can probably put 2 pieces together in an hour. Where did they get that trophy, though?
I don't know.
That trophy was something.
You know what? I think I'd have to make my own.
I know.
Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
It was like gold.